Take one, Mark.
I grew up in this really small town where everyone knew everyone. So I've known her like since kindergarten. We were in the same class and we were the same age, so we just were in every class together. And I mean, we've been to each other's birthday parties and stuff like that. We weren't like super close friends, but up and through high school, I'd say hi to her in the hallways and she'd say hi back, and we knew each other's first and last names and a couple of our siblings and stuff like that. I'd say just like good acquaintances. I mean, we'd talk. A lot of mutual friends, but then I don't know why in particular she just decided just to make my life a living hell, just randomly. I keep a daily journal even to this day, and I left it on my desk at one point, I guess, and it was gone when I came back, and it turned out that she had taken it and was reading it and was showing it around to her friends and was, laughing about it. I was a sophomore in high school at this point. I'm sure there was like embarrassing stuff in it, but like, I'm not a secretive person. It's just the fact that she was trying to find ways to hurt me. It wasn't, what she was doing wasn't hurting me. It's just the fact that she was choosing to hurt me that hurt. Because I pride myself in being a very kind person and generous and understanding. I love understanding people and where they're coming from and why they do things. And so when somebody decides to hate me, it's like, it's a surprise, and I can't understand it. And that's the hardest part, is I don't understand why. So through high school, my sophomore year, it just got worse and worse. She targeted me and my best friend, and it was a lot of things like, calling us lesbians, and we were going through a gothic phase, so there was like some making fun of that, I guess. There was one point where it finally escalated into a fist fight at the end of my sophomore year, last 5 minutes of class. And she was like stalking us through the hallways, and she got up in my friend's face and she said, if you're gonna talk crap about, flip me off. Like if you're gonna flip me off, do it to my face, because I guess she'd done it behind her back or something. And I've never been in these kind of situations before. Like I avoid confrontation as much as I humanly can. And so she yelled at my friend and said, flip me off to my face. And as she was turning away from my friend, she was turning towards me. I went, okay. I just like flipped her off in her face. And the next thing I knew, I got slapped. And when they say blind with rage, it's not a euphemism. Like I literally, my vision just kind of tunneled and grayed and went like this as my binder was flying at her head. The next thing I remember, the teachers were pulling us apart. There is a lot of fights at my schools. There was a lot of fights at my schools constantly. It was kind of a poorer neighborhood. So the cops got involved. And I had never gotten into anything like this before. So it was like not arrested or anything, but they sat us down and they talked about it. And everything that she had been doing to me, when the cops asked her, she said that I had been doing to her. Like calling her names and following her at lunch and calling her names and yelling at her and trying to start fights, and like down to the detail of the stuff she had been doing to torment me. She told the cops that I had been doing to her, and I didn't say anything because there was a part of me that hoped that if she felt like she had won, she would just finally leave me alone. And so I mean, she had a record, so I don't think the cops believed her or anything, but I just felt so small and helpless. And I didn't know what to do. And it wasn't until we left I felt like I could tell my mom the truth, that you know, she was lying and that was all the stuff she'd been doing to me. I just wanted her to leave me alone. So we were both suspended for 5 days of the beginning of our junior year. It's the last day of school, you couldn't really do anything. And we came back and I saw her and she would glare at me in the hallways, but she didn't do anything else. Then later on that year, she started picking on another girl and got in a fight with her and ended up finally getting expelled. And it was just such relief that I wouldn't even have to see her face in the hallways anymore. And all of her friends that she had gotten in on making fun of me with all apologized to me after. And I'm just like, okay, this is done. This is done. This was a horrible point in my life. It's over. I'm good. And then I went to college, and about 3 or 4 years later, she contacted me on Facebook, and she apologized. Like, it was a message. I hadn't friended her or anything, but she just sent me a message apologizing. And I thought, this is great. This is all in my past, you know, everything's good. And I said, you know, I understand you're probably going through something. It's fine. You know, we all have tough times. And the next message she sent me was calling me stupid and telling me how gullible I was and how easy it was to trick me. And just went on and on about how stupid I was and how nobody liked me and how I should never go back to my hometown. And everyone who was nice to me was pretending, because I was just like so stupid and ugly and pathetic and everything. And so I just blocked her. I'm like, I don't want this. I don't want to retaliate. I want this out of my life. So I blocked her, and then she created another Facebook account, and she messaged me again and again. And then she, well, I mean, assuming this is what she did, is some other accounts that I didn't recognize from people started popping up and messaging me more hateful things. And all the messages like more or less sounded the same. So I kind of assumed it was just her trying to just gang up on me virtually, just make it look like more people hated me. And so I eventually just deleted my Facebook account. She tried contacting me through like Instagram and a couple other things. So I just like went completely media free for about 6 months. And then when I finally went back on through a different email and created a different name and a different profile and everything, I never heard from her again. But I never liked going back to my hometown because I was always afraid of running into her. I mean, even today, I'm 30 years old now, and I didn't go to my 10-year class reunion just because I don't know if she changed. She doesn't seem to, and yeah, that's just a part of my life that I just really want to just completely block out.
So when you're walking around your town, you do feel like a genuine fear that you're going to run into this girl?
Yeah, I don't know if she'd do anything, but it's just the memories it would bring up or something, or just like looking at her. Like I saw her at my hometown Walmart and I hid, and this was like 3 years ago. And it's not even that I'm afraid that she would do anything. I just don't want her to remember me. If she's forgotten about me and moved on, I don't want to bring it back.
Yeah. How do you feel like this is affecting you now, like in your friendships now with girls?
I know I've got trust issues. I don't connect to people very well, and I feel like there's like even a little bit of fakeness. Even if someone says something nice to me, like compliments me, there's always like are they going to do the switch? Are they going to, you know, are they just trying to get on my good side so that they can be mean to me later or talk crap behind my back?
You're super, I mean, obviously we've talked before, but you're super, you're very good at self-analysis. And I'm wondering, like, you know, in your kind of travels, if you, how prevalent do you think this girl-on-girl cyberbullying thing is? Like, have you talked to other people? Like, talk about the girl-on-girl cyberbullying thing is so common. So talk about like what your thoughts are about that. I know you've probably thought about this a lot.
Yeah, no, the girl-on-girl cyberbullying, it's ridiculous. It's so common. I think it's cyberbullying in general. I think is so easy because people feel so disconnected with the internet. There's a huge sense of anonymity that just brings out the worst in people because they can't be held accountable. You can attack someone and just delete your profile and that's it. It's like it never happened. Girl on girl specifically though, I mean, I know I'm a girl, but like girls are just conniving and they're nasty and they're backstabbing. I had this conversation with my boyfriend actually. The hierarchy between guys and girls. Guys are like very surface competitive, and like they'll duke it out in sports and stuff. But then underneath, all the emotions are like really chill. And girls are the complete opposite, where they're just very chill and get along up front, but like underneath everything's a competition, and just yeah.
Is it possible that part of this belief system that you have comes from this experience, though?
Yeah. It does, because I was raised to be a very honest, forward-talking, straight-talking person. And it just astounds me when someone is conniving and has hidden agendas and tries to be manipulative. And it's why? It just doesn't make sense to me.
I just find this one so interesting because I do feel like it's so common, but obviously your story is so bizarre because she came back.
Yeah.
It's like this perpetually long bullying. It's like she wouldn't let you go. I actually have a similar story like this. I was totally bullied in high school. I'm going to tell you this right now because this girl then tried to get her daughter to audition for this.
Wow.
Yeah. That's really happened.
Wow, that's a story.
And the irony was that she's not even talking to her daughter anymore. She had to send an email through somebody else to get her daughter to audition for this.
Wow.
Yeah. So this is a story that I totally get because I feel like girls really do this to each other in such a horrible way. Yeah, you could just go ahead and talk about that. Why do you think people feel safe?
I think people feel safe bullying on the internet because I mean, as I said, the anonymity. I'm not even going to try to say the word anymore. Because you can create a new person, like an avatar, online that doesn't represent you at all. It's hard to know where it's coming from. It was just compared to like road rage, how people feel like they can be angry in a car and like flip people off and stuff. But even then, I'm scared to flip somebody off because what if they decide to come up behind me and follow me home and stuff like that? And the internet is so safe in that way where, as I said, when she was attacking me, I just deleted her. I got rid of Facebook and the problem was gone. And that works in the roundabout way too, where the moment something comes with repercussions, they can just delete it and pretend it never happened, and you can't prove anything. Yeah.
Talk a little bit about girl-on-girl bullying and what you think about that.
I think that girl-on-girl bullying is some of the most brutal, and it's definitely the hardest and the most common. It's kind of interesting because while girl and girl bullying seems to be like, girl and girl is kind of the problem, it's also pretty much the only solution is girls now standing up for each other and protecting each other. And when they see that happening, doing it, because if a guy steps in, it's none of the guy's business, and adults can't help because they don't understand. It's your peers, and yeah, so while it's definitely a problem, it's also pretty much the only solution, I think. I don't know how many she had created by the time I blocked it. It could have been, I think it was like around 5 or 7 when I finally just shut down my Facebook, but she could have done hundreds. I mean, you don't really have a limit. And that's a problem. It could have just kept going on forever. There was no way to like just stop it.
What would you say to this girl now if you saw her?
I'd have trouble saying anything. She would have to say something to me. She would have to want to come up and apologize or pretend it didn't happen and that we're friends now. Even that I'm okay with. I mean, if she's willing to forget it and move on, I'm willing to forget it and move on, but I can't trust that. So, I mean, especially since it came back later, I definitely can't trust that there's not still something there. So I don't think I could. I think like last time I saw her in Walmart, I'd probably still hide.
Yeah, and tell us everything that you feel like this has affected in your life. Has it affected your trust? Has it affected your...
It's massively affected my trust. Especially because when she came around on the cyber, on Facebook, she apologized. And then she switched it. She like drew me in. I'm very skeptical of anyone who's just like blatantly straight out nice to me for no reason. I'm like, there's a catch here. There's definitely a catch. You're trying to trick me into something, or you're being nice to me now and you'll laugh behind my back. Like, it's actually honestly easier for me to be friends with people that are a little bit mean to me, because if you're like feel open enough to be mean to my face, I feel like I can trust you more. It's like, okay, I know the kind of person you are right now. So it definitely has led to like some really bad relationships. Because, that's the way I feel about guys as well. It's just like, oh, if they feel comfortable enough to say these mean things to me to my face, like, at least there's nothing hidden. At least I know what's coming. So.
Wow, that's kind of crazy, right? How many relationships have you had that you felt like this was a factor?
One really long one. And it was like about 5 years. I mean, I've had friendships, definitely. I've been in abusive friendships where people just kind of take advantage of my generosity, or they're just like really brutally honest with me, like too brutally honest. And it's kind of like I put myself back into the bullying relationship because I know it so well. And it's comfortable. But yeah, the really long 5-year relationship, that was ridiculous. And now I'm in a really great relationship with a guy, like 2 years long, and he's just wonderful and sweet, and he compliments me all the time. And after 2 years, I still, like, every time he pays me a compliment out of nowhere, it's like, you're just saying that for whatever reason. Like, I still can't trust it fully. So I really, really want to. I feel pretty safe here since I got a chance to talk to you and the reason this is for, and yeah, I feel like I can be open and honest with you, but like if, again, on the Skype conversation, I just barely met you, I didn't know how you'd react if I started bawling, and I have a tendency to just laugh things off when it really hurts, and I don't like crying in front of people. I don't. I'll usually just keep it together and keep a smile on my face until I can like go in my room and then cry for like 45 minutes, and then I can come out and be less crazy, I guess.
Do you think that there should be a punishment for this girl?
I don't think so much as a punishment as just a way to keep her from doing it to other people. I mean, if she wants to live her life as a miserable, petty person, that's her prerogative. I just wish there was a way to keep her from hurting others.